Hi folks, welcome back. This is Larry Taylor. I'm a life coach specializing in trying to walk with people as they get themselves unstuck from spiritual stuckness. Some of us along the path of life go through times when we wind up spiritually stuck. And once in a while, we need a friend to help us get unstuck and move along. So that's kind of what I'm all about. And if you're just joining me, I'd suggest you go back to the beginning and to watch these short videos in order because they build on each other. In the first one, I talk about a metaphor that I use about being stuck in the mud and getting free, and then joining a group to help others in similar situations. In the second short video, I talk about what I mean by being spiritually stuck as opposed to being stuck in some other area of life. And in the last video, I presented a scenario, and I'm going to present another one in this video. And these scenarios are true and not true. The names are fictitious. The people that I'm describing are composites of people that I know or people that I know of. The situations are real situations that real people get into. And the solutions are real solutions that people have used and can use to get out of those similar situations. So in this scenario, I am talking about a fellow whose name is Eric. And I'll tell you right off the bat that a big part of Eric comes from my own life. So yes, it's a composite. But a lot of Eric is me, just to be upfront. Eric is, and has been for some time, very active in the anti-war movement and very active in the environmental movement, very active in protecting animal rights. He's the kind of person who is very concerned with the abuse of animals in corporate farms and that sort of thing, you know, where animals are packed in and can't move and can't turn around and are, in some cases, can't do anything but stand there and eat. He's very concerned about what we as human beings are doing to the environment. Air and water pollution, plastics. We are the primary cause of global warming by far. Yes, there are other factors, but human misuse of the environment is by far the biggest factor. And so he's very concerned about that, and he is very concerned about oppression and war. He's very concerned about social justice. He's involved in anti-racist movements. He joins marches for Black Lives Matter. He joins protests against invasions and wars. He writes letters to Congress and others in authority. He supports organizations that are defending the environment, like the Sierra Club or Greenpeace or those kinds of things. So this is a description of Eric. It's also a description of me. But be that as it may, Eric comes to faith. He gets involved And his faith is very deep, personal, and meaningful to him. And he's invited to a Bible study. He's enthusiastic about going to the Bible study. From the Bible study, he's invited to be part of a faith community. He's really excited about attending it. He loves the music. He loves the worship. He loves the expressions of praise to God. And most of the time, he loves the sermons and the Bible teaching as well. But something begins to really bother him. And that is that it seems that the majority of people in this particular faith community are not at all concerned about the things that he's spent his life being concerned about. These folks don't seem to think that racism is a problem. These folks don't see any need to right historic injustices. These people never mention the environment or caring for animals or any of that kind of thing. In fact, they live their lives in disregard for those things. He doesn't mean to be critical or judgmental, but judging by the kinds of cars they drive and the kind of waste that they produce, and just judging by the fact that these issues never come up. And then what really bothers him is his country decides to invade another country, and these people are all for it. And then he discovers a lot of these people not only own, but carry weapons, guns. And so there's this dissonance that begins to sink in. On the one hand, I've got my friends, my faith community, my belief. And on the other hand, I've got these concerns. And they seem like real concerns. And these people over here, the faith community folks, can pull verses out of the Bible which seem to support all the things they support, seem to support war, seem to say that racism is not a big problem. Some of them can even quote Bible verses to support being racist. They can quote Bible verses to support what he considers to be abuse of animals. They can quote Bible verses that, from his perspective, seem to support the destruction of the environment. And so there's this dissonance, this tension that builds within him. And for a while, he finds himself kind of putting aside all these social concerns and staying closely connected with these people. He doesn't say anything when they offer an opinion that's very different from the social concern side. He doesn't object. He wants to get along. It's important to him to belong. This is not just a faith, it's not just a church that he attends or a faith community he attends occasionally. This is family to him. And his belief is very important. And as he begins to search the scriptures, he becomes more confused because he finds Bible verses to support these folks over on this side, and he finds Bible verses that seem to point towards caring for the environment and caring for animals and being opposed to war and violence and all of that. And so this dissonance results in what I would call spiritual stuckness. What does he do? How does he reconcile these things? Well, Eric is a guy who doesn't give up easily, and so he searches and searches and searches. And he comes across teachers that love the Lord, are committed evangelical Christians who are also opposed to war, who are also concerned about taking care of the environment, who also are very concerned about racism and injustice and so forth. And so he seeks them out. And they are the ones that are helping him get out of the mud, unstuck. Scriptures are opening to him in a new way. He's realizing that not all Scripture is equal. He's realizing that the Bible is not a flat Bible, and that verses in, like don't eat shrimp are not as important as things Jesus said, like love your neighbor as yourself. And so he's learning to read the Bible differently. He's not only getting himself out of the mud, but he's getting the mud knocked off of his boots. And there's a new sense of freedom, a new sense of joy. He's discovered that he hasn't lost anything. He loves God more than he ever has, and he loves God's creation as much or more than he ever has. And he's learning to love all kinds of people, even people that disagree with him. And so his whole journey becomes lighter and healthier and freer. He's experiencing inner freedom. And he joins with other Christians. He doesn't abandon his friends from that first group, but he joins with other Christians who are more like-minded and other groups. And he continues to seek to grow and to seek to influence others as they are open to being influenced, showing them that these two sides that were in such tension don't need to be. That this same God who redeemed the world loves nature and doesn't want us killing each other and so forth. Getting unstuck spiritually. That's what this is all about. See you next time.